If you had the genes to turn into a dragon, wouldn't you be excited and impatient too?
Sophie, stop daydreaming and concentrate.
But Elder Liam, this stuff is so boring. Wouldn't we get to the good part?
Soon, little one.
Elder Liam, I am a 19-year-old crown princess. Not little. That ship sailed.
But princess, you'll always be little for me.
I've done this 1,000 times. I am ready to turn into a dragon and create rain. It is my sacred duty, is it not? You always said never to delay duty.
Elder Liam raised his eyebrow.
Not so little anymore, indeed. When did you grow up so much?
Right under your nose. Or above your nose. I'm taller now. You should get glasses like humans wear. You would look cute.
Elder Liam couldn't help smiling at his star pupil.
Cute, huh? Then I will try on these glasses.
The princess of the East Ocean Dragon Tribe was talented. If only she didn't keep getting distracted by things like the shape of clouds. Elder Liam understood her frustration, but he wanted to be sure that she was ready to fly the nest, so to speak. Or was she right, and he was holding her back? Some food for thought.
Let's stop for today, princess. Let's get back to the palace.
But there's plenty of time left, Elder Liam.
I know, but give an old man some leeway. I'm not as strong as I used to be.
Sophie snorted delicately.
I've not seen someone as spry as you, except for Dad and Uncle James.
Nevertheless, I have to write some reports for your father. There have been some unusual movements from the West Ocean tribe. We must find out what they're up to.
All right, Elder Liam. I think I'll stay here a little longer and, enjoy the view.
Sure.
Elder Liam turned away before Sophie could see his amused smile. He knew that Sophie liked to lay down on the clouds, watching humans go about their lives. She went to a human school, but it was something different watching them from afar. And he suspected that a boy had caught her eye.
The magic of youth.
He left Sophie to her thoughts. Sophie loved the way the clouds would change shape while she lay on one. Sometimes they would come apart and Sophie would fall through, always managing to use the wind for another cloud. As soon as Sophie was sure Elder Liam was gone, she jumped up in glee. She knew he thought that Sophie liked to watch boys from the clouds, but today, she had different plans. She would create rain and complete her dragon transformation. It would be spectacular. She peered over the cloud just in case. Snack Boy made an appearance. Oh, there he was at his favorite green hoodie, both arms around one huge bag of snacks each. It was an even bigger haul than usual. She recognized her favorite brand of snacks and nodded approvingly. He was kinda cute in a very nerdy way. She waited for him to enter a building so that he could find shelter. It would be a shame if those snacks got ruined in the rain. She shook her head and decided to concentrate on her chosen task.
I've got to figure this out myself somehow.
Sophie took a deep breath. Now that she was actually going to do it, she felt intimidated and blank, like she'd forgotten everything. She took a few more deliberately slow breaths to calm down and focus on everything she had learned. She directed her thoughts on her solar plexus, the place where her dragon core was nestled. It was this core that gave her dragon powers. Every dragon was born with one. Humans could gain a core, but they usually never survived long enough to turn into dragons. Their bodies were not built to handle so much energy. They usually got some dragon scale-like rash as the dragon energy overloaded their organs from within. She shuddered. Good thing humans were no longer aware that dragons existed. Their memories had been wiped. Sophie stepped on another white cumulus cloud as the one she had been standing on dissipated. Closing her eyes, she held up her hands in front of her and performed a complex series of hand gestures, folding and unfolding certain fingers to manipulate energies. The core, a small, round, and soft thing, pulsed in time to her movements. As she breathed deep, she felt the energy fill her up. It was the most beautiful feeling in the world. She felt close to something, as though she was about to explode, and she wanted to. How absurd that it made her want to scream. It was an unbearably sweet and powerful feeling. The wind began to kick up. The mostly clear blue sky began to darken as the wind swirled and formed clouds that turned gray from moisture. Sophie began to chant. She herself was incandescent with electric blue light that swirled around her. The clouds became thicker until they flowed like an ocean in the sky. Sophie herself explode, and it began to rain, hard. The glistening drops, like pearls falling from a broken necklace, were the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. Sophie couldn't help looking down to see what she'd created, and saw something that made her panic.
Hey, is that Snack Boy?
Why had he not taken shelter at the nearby store? Would he be all right? That moment of distraction cost her. The next moment, Sophie screamed as she felt a crippling pulse of pain stab her in the solar plexus. She looked at her chest, but there was no arrow there, yet the pain felt so real. Then her wings went numb.
What the hell is happening? Why can't I feel my wings? Is someone attacking me?
Her wings hung uselessly and flapped around her with the wind. Elder Liam had been right. She wasn't ready. She struggled to make her wings work, looking down to see if there was a suitable place to crash land into.
Wait, is Snack Boy still here?
Snack Boy was looking right up at her with his arms out. Could he see her? Was he trying to save her? He needed to move or she would fall right on top of him. As she got closer to the ground and struggled to move her wings, she realized that even if she herself didn't die of impact, the mortal would be crushed. Her dragon weight would be too much for him. The distance was closing up fast. Suddenly, the sensation in her wings was back. She flapped her wings for all she was worth, but it became obvious that the momentum was too great. She wouldn't be able to fly out of this dive. She could survive the fall, especially since the human would cushion her, but he would still be crushed. In a split second, she made the decision and turned into a human, letting her wings go back inside. She tried her best to angle herself in a way that wouldn't kill the mortal. She had her human weight now, so it should be fine, relatively. And then she crashed on top of him. Everything went black. When Sophie came to and opened her eyes, she found herself lying on top of Snack Boy. For a moment, time stopped. Their gazes locked, and Sophie had this feeling that this meeting had been written in the stars. She shook her head to get rid of the feeling. She was a dragon princess, not some stupid human girl. To think it would be romantic if he turned out to be the love of her life, because she had literally fallen into his arms. Sheesh! The mortal's lip was swollen, and Sophie blushed when she realized why. They must have accidentally kissed when she fell on him.
No, this can't be my first kiss.
She struggled to get off of him, but only fell into his arms again. Her heart skipped a beat as he tightened his arm around her waist and sat up, so that she was also sitting. He stood up and helped her get up.
Are you okay?
Sophie took a deep breath, and that's when she realized that something was very, very wrong. She felt hollow, like she'd lost something precious. The pain of it wasn't just physical. She looked at the mortal suspiciously.
Who are you? What did you do?
He looked taken aback by her accusatory tone.
What did I do? I saved your life. If I hadn't caught you when you fell from the sky, you could have died.
Sophie was exasperated.
Is this mortal a fool? Did he actually think he had caught someone falling from the sky without his arms breaking?
It took all her strength not to tell him that he had gotten in her way. She still could not understand why she was feeling this hollow space in her solar plexus, where her dragon core was supposed to be. A horrible thought occurred to her. Could he have stolen her core when she fell into his arms? Was that why he tried to catch her? She had heard the stories as a child of wicked humans who hunted dragons for their cores. That was back when humans knew about dragons and even lived together in harmony, until the dead bodies of dragons had started to appear. Some humans with a little bit of dragon blood in their ancestry would kill dragons to take their cores away in the hopes of getting dragon powers. Some even thought they were doing the noble thing. There had even been a human who had reaped multiple dragon cores in a crazy attempt to gain terrible powers, to forcibly bring peace to the world. He was a mad genius who had created a mechanical dragon body to hold vast amounts of dragon core energy, but ultimately had been defeated when humans and dragons had combined forces to trick him into taking on too much power. As a precaution, the dragons had removed their memories from the minds of humans. The mortals believed that dragons were nothing more than stories. Still, that particular story had always given Sophie the chills. The foolish human was waving his hands in front of her face to get her attention.
Hey!
For a moment, Sophie was convinced that the concern in his eyes was genuine. She gave herself a mental shake. She couldn't afford to trust anyone blindly. She didn't want to accuse him of anything until she was completely sure that her core had been stolen. She scanned the sky to see if her teacher, Elder Liam, had followed her or found out, but she couldn't see a sign in the sky. With a last glare at the mortal, she walked away. He called out to her, but she didn't stop. Tears fell from her eyes, and the feeling of unbearable loss kept overwhelming her as she went further and further away from him. Does Jacob have Sophie's dragon core? What will Sophie do to get her core back?